What's up, guys? We're back with the Pokemon videos. We're going to do a draft review of a new draft league that I joined, the Spear Pillar League. I'm not entirely sure on the name, but simply put, 16-person league, a little bigger than the other one I'm doing, which will be resuming soon. The league was taking a break. I had to go on vacation, and then I had to move into a new place, which, not as, that's my hand. Not as, I'm still getting everything moved in, but it's a nice place. I'll be here for a few months until I find somewhere else. We're going to just go through my draft quick, which you may or may not be able to see at the bottom of the video there. I'm going to start at the top with the Mega that I chose. That is going to be Mega Heracross. I'm going to start out by explaining this choice. So in my other league, I currently still have to play a game against the guy who drafted Mega Heracross. I've been having a lot of trouble trying to think my webcam. Trying to think of the right way to beat Mega Heracross. You know, it's got a pretty good defensive typings, flying type 4 times notwithstanding. It's got pretty good bulk, and it has 185 base attack, which is not okay. And it means that you really can't swap into it. You really can't, hope to be able to resist it, especially because of the good coverage that it gets between Rock Blast, Bullet Seed, Close Combat, Pin Missile, Night Slash. Makes it kind of hard to plan for that. So the one counter for Mega Heracross that I found was Doublade. Eviolite Doublade, 150 base defense, lets it eat literally anything. It takes like 10 hits to kill Doublade or something ridiculous like that. And I said, that seems pretty cool. I got invited to this league. What if I took Mega Heracross and Doublade? So we're gonna, that's what I did, and we're gonna see how that goes. But the whole point of Mega Heracross is just to kind of be the hard hitter, just a hard wall breaker. Lets it, if I can get it in safely, then something's gonna die. Hopefully not my Mega Heracross, because, it does have that kind of lower speed, and that can cause problems, but that's what I also planned for with my draft. So, let's move on to my Tier 1 pick, and this was the first pick that I made. We grabbed Mew. So, Mew is, it's Mew. It learns every move. It has 100 base stats down the line. Synchronizes a pretty good ability. Can't go wrong with Mew. One thing about Mew is that it learns Tailwind, which is kind of an important strategy for me, is it's going to let me use that to outspeed things as Heracross. Because, 75 speed isn't great. It's really not good at all. But doubled, it's still pretty unbeatable. I mean, once you get into like the real high speed tiers, with Scarf and stuff like that, yeah, it's gonna be outsped. But it makes Heracross a really strong force in what's typically kind of a slower league. Probably gonna be running a lot of the very classic variants of Mew, be it Stealth Rock, Defog, Wisp, Ice Beam. Running a healing move like Soft Boiled or Roost. There's a lot of options for me, and I have a lot of other options too. It gets Double Dance. It could work well as a sweeper. I'm pretty interested to see what all I can accomplish with Mew, because I've really only ever ran it defensively. Next up, and this is a very important member of the roster, is Tornadus Incarnate. Now, the important thing about Tornadus Incarnate is that it gets the Prankster ability, which, if you don't know what that is, it essentially means that any non-attacking moves, be it status moves, be it boosting moves, be it healing moves, they get +1 priority. So, if I wanted to use Tailwind, then that would mean that I get priority Tailwind, which means I can be sure to get it off, unless, I don't know, some dumb bullshit like Weavile Ice Shard. I don't know. But that gives me an option for being able to boost my speed, which can help with some of the slower members of my team. Not all the slower members, but you're going to see that there's a couple things that can benefit from it. Other than that, it has a pretty good, excuse me, it is a pretty good move pool. It gets Hurricane, it gets U-Turn, Heat Wave. There's a lot of different stuff that you can do, but I think the majority of it is just going to be the Tailwind support, because, there's plenty of other stuff that I could use if I need any other support. Moving down the list, we have my Tier 3, and that's going to be Tangrowth. Now, Tangrowth is a monster. I don't know why it was at Tier 3, but when I saw it, oh my god. When I saw that it was at Tier 3, I just thought, well, fuck, I guess I'm getting Tangrowth. Especially when I saw my Tier 5. But, Tangrowth has those sky-high defensive stats. 100 HP and 125 defense is incredible. If I want to run that Assault Vest set, that lets me get my special defense up to something that's pretty respectable. Lets it eat a lot of those hits if I want to just run a basic set, something like Sleep Powder, and let me, set up some stuff. That gives me a lot of options there. But the main job for Tangrowth is just going to be to swap in, take a hit, maybe scare something out, and then swap back out to untake a hit. Moving on, we have Doublade, which is, again, I chose it because it was a counter to Heracross, and I thought, well, if I take the counter, what else is there? And if I figure that if I keep doing this, I'm eventually going to have the perfect team that can stop Heracross, and nobody else will have anything else that can stop it. And during the draft, people are going to be, well, why he picked Mega Heracross? Why is he taking Doublade and Eviolite Zubat? I don't know what people are going to find. But, Doublade has the 150 base defense. He has 110 attack. He can take hits for days. He has a very strong Gyro Ball because of his 35 speed, which, you're not trying to outspeed anything. However, I think Iron Head is going to be better for if I'm using Tailwind. He doesn't get a Gyro Ball, right? Oh my gosh. I feel like a damn fool. Yeah, he gets Gyro Ball. I don't know what I was thinking. Moving down from there, gotta remember this one from the Minor Battle League is Alomomola with 165 base HP and a Regenerator. It gives me a pretty scary Regenerator core of Tangrowth and Mola. That 80 defense is pretty crazy. It means that he can tank just about any hit, and especially a lot of super effective hits. A lot of investments probably going to be going into the special defense, so you can survive attacks on that front. And then he just sort of sits there. He's going to Scald, Knock Off, Toxic, Wish Protect, kind of whatever needs to be done to provide that support role. Moving on from there, I don't know how to do this. That wasn't it. Alan Graves. Alright, we've got a Alolan Graveler who has a couple things going for him. The main reason I picked him is that it gives me the ability to trap Steel types, which is something that seems invaluable. He's not as valuable as Alolan Golem, which is finding success currently in OU due to the fact that with a Scarf it outspeeds Heatran by 1 point, I think. But Alolan Graveler has 115 base defense, which for a second stage is pretty good. And then when you add on the Eviolite to that puts his defense at, 160, something in that range. It lets him take a lot of hits, and a 95 attack is probably about enough to get the job done, especially when you have stuff like Fire Punch available to you that can use that to, maybe take out some, maybe take out a few Steel types and shit. Yeah. The Rock Electric typing is really strong, although it keeps him 4 times weak to Earthquake. It means that he doesn't take super effective damage from Steel types. And that's going to be an invaluable resistance or neutrality, I guess. Yeah, I'm not planning on swapping them in any earthquakes anyway. Next up, we have, moving into my free picks, which are what I use my extra points for, we have Snorlax, which is just another thing that I took from my other team in the Minor Battle League. I love using Snorlax. I already uploaded my first week video, and he 5-0'd the enemy team. I got a +6 with Curse, and then I just clicked buttons until the enemy team logged off. That went pretty well, so I figured I'd grab him again. Nidoking is a threat that I love using. I even use him a lot in OU just because he's so much fun to use, because when you have a Life Orb and when you have Sheer Force, he has like base 150 attack or some crazy bullshit like that. And it means that he essentially 2-hit KOs everything in the game, which is an invaluable calculation to have when you want to win the game. So I like to run, like Stealth Rock on him, run some coverage, kind of comes down to what's going to be brought. And I just find that he's able to put out massive damage and also provide some valuable utility if it's needed. And then getting into these last two picks, I grabbed Jolteon, which just provides the value of being incredibly fast, which means that if I need to try and outspeed something that's fast, it gives me that option, it gives me that availability. The Volt Absorb gives it an important immunity to electric type, which, I have a lot of electric types, so other people may need that more than me, but it means that he's kind of able to just get in, do some damage, get out, and, stay a little safe. And finally, for my last pick of the draft, we have Thundurus Therian, which is a very threatening Pokemon. It has 145 base attack. It has 101 speed. 101 speed is pretty good in Draft League. If I give him a Scarf, then that means that he outspeeds most things. But if I have him under Tailwind, and say I get a Nasty Plot up, then I just win. That's kind of all there is to it. He does a lot of work, and he's gonna do a lot of work with valuable immunities to both ground type to keep him safe from electric, or to keep the electric typing safe, and he's also immune to electric type to keep the flying type safe, meaning that allows him a little bit of defensive utility, with his weaknesses being remaining to rock type and ice type. Gotta watch out a little bit with the Stealth Rock, but that's okay, I'll be able to manage. Finally, I picked the Electrium Z, which seemed like the easy option because I have a lot of electric types. I believe in this league there was a rule where I have to, before the match, I have to say like 2 Pokemon that could possibly be holding the Z Crystal or something like that. But judging from the coverage available to me, it doesn't just have to be the electric types. I can run some cool stuff. But, we'll kind of see how that works out, because I haven't really found a whole lot of success with the Z Crystal in the other leagues. So I find that the actual utility of a proper item is just a little more valuable than having that one-time nuke. That kind of wraps it up. I'm a little pissed that they listed me as BILLDOZER and not the BILLDOZER. I guess last but not least, I got a new logo done for the team by my sister. I'll be plugging her Twitter in the description if there's any Draft League people that watch this and want to be able to contact her and see if she's interested in making one too. Fair prices, stuff like that. I really like what she did. It looks great. That's all I have for today. I'll be uploading the new video sometime this week. I have to play an MBL match tomorrow, and then I should have that video up by Monday, because I'm sure so many of you are, raring to see my next video. Anyway, good night, y'all.